every company in the world, and every workflow for every company in every industry will be re-engineered in 24 months. This is a tsunami, Ed. This is a tsunami of change. This is a tsunami.
Welcome back to the Conspiracy Meta with DisillusionDruid. The theme of this week's episode, Red Wave.
Going back to plastic stores, these things don't work. I've had them many times, and on occasion they break, they explode.
Starting out with the head of the week, the Super Bowl was last Sunday. Aside from Kendrick making a Masonic apron on the field, OpenAI made its advertising debut with AI-generated imagery of the singularity beamed into eyeballs around the nation. While AI graduates to pointillism, most of the conspiracy theorists in the class didn't quite make the grade, with conspiracy predictions of the Chiefs winning being dashed to bits, revealing counterintelligence as not only notice us noticing, but confirms what I've been saying all along. Counterintelligence is in the conspiracy community, planting false breadcrumbs and red herrings. Turns out the rabbit hole can sometimes be a rabbit snare instead. But while we're on the subject of counterintelligence, Trump's new transparency policy is leading to some interesting results, with the Chinese spy balloons you might remember from February 2023 being confirmed by military intelligence to, in fact, have been Chinese spy balloons all along. But that's the kind of due diligence we are told to expect from our newly confirmed Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Excuse me if I'm not thrilled the position exists to begin with, and less thrilled if it goes to someone who can't remember being excited for becoming a young global leader for the World Economic Forum. But the dialectical media says we should grab the popcorn and enjoy the incoming thrills as Gabbard, combined with the pending FBI Director Kash Patel and Florida Representative Paulina Luna task force on the declassification of federal secrets. Any day now we're supposed to see the fallout from JFK, MLK, RFK, COVID, 9/11, and Epstein. Forgive me if I don't hold my breath, but it all seems like a classic bait and switch to me. As Whitney Webb has illustrated so thoroughly and eloquently in her book series One Nation Under Blackmail, it won't matter much if Ted Epstein is disclosed, because the old analog system of blackmail under Epstein and the Maxwell family has been replaced with the new artificial intelligence digital blackmail system implemented by the Peter Thiel tech mafia that currently controls several facets of the White House. And speaking of the mafia squeeze in Washington, DOGE continues to steamroll right over conventions and feelings, stepping on the toes of the intelligence community and the financial community in Washington this week, threatening to audit the Pentagon, the Treasury, and the Federal Reserve, suggesting Ron Paul for the latter job. Elon managed to get irate bean counters to prove they've always been hiding something, forcing the Treasury to unconstitutionally prevent the executive branch from their Article 2 powers of the coffers. If Musk is worried about a personal 9/11 for auditing the DOD, it didn't show as he hung out with Trump for a photo shoot, as Trump delivered his own Mongol horde victories this week. Quadrupling down on techno-imperialism, Trump finalized the Gulf of America this week. He managed to get Trudeau to admit Canada as becoming a 51st state is a very real possibility, and rode the crimson blood wave of colonialism all the way to the snow-white Arctic Circle, with Georgia Representative Buddy Carter introducing H.R. 1161 to Congress, the Red, White, and Blue Land Bill, to rename Greenland as well. Gaza is set to become prime Mediterranean Mar-a-Lago real estate now that U.S. officials can bribe foreign entities again. And if Hamas is not cool with it, Trump promises all hell will break loose unless they give him the land along with the hostages by Saturday. Islamic factions are worried Trump won't honor the Israeli ceasefire, yet clearly their worries are unfounded. I mean, look how good he is with children. Perhaps so we won't pay so close attention to the atrocities, Musk brought his strangely named kid X-A12 for a photo shoot with Trump, making a lovely little nod to the Saturn-Jupiter cult of the New World Order, where the old order that of Saturn or Cronus, the world's first cannibalistic tyrant, is supplanted with the new order that of Zeus, prince of the air, lightning technology, as the big tech mafia establishes the new law of the land with Trump as their faithful frontman, their Orion brought down to earth, who ruled, was buried, raised, and ruled again. But with the mention of Orion in the news yet again, that brings us to the meat of matter this week. That's right, we're back on the Meteorite Cult this week. If you've been catching up with the Conspiracy Meta, you may remember our Christmas episode featured the cult of Orion, Osiris, Nimrod, Gilgamesh, Zeus, Jupiter, Dionysus, etc., being the basis of all mystery cults. But I don't believe we discussed why or how it tied to meteorites. Let's back up. To start, every pagan god or goddess, their temple, their mystery, featured a meteorite, or as they were called in ancient Greece, Diopedes, or stone of heaven / the gods. Huh? What? Ancient meteorite gods? You heard me right. But it's not just chunks of space rocks. In most ancient lore and legend, these mystical meteorites were often claimed to have fallen pre-carved in the form of the goddess whose image it bore. Don't believe me? Let's start with Artemis of Ephesus in the Bible then. Acts 19:35. The scene. A city clerk of Ephesus addressing a riotous crowd of temple worshippers the apostles have managed to inflame. Men of Ephesus, who is there who does not know that the city of the Ephesians is temple keeper of the great Artemis, and of the sacred stone / her image that fell from the sky? The temple of Artemis of Ephesus, by the way, was the world's largest ancient wonder, second only to the pyramids in size and popularity. Ephesus was also home to antiquity's largest bank, who were the actual temple clerks. What that suggests is so many people from the ancient world were traveling to the Temple of Artemis in Ephesus to pay tribute to the meteorite that bore her image, that the hoard of international wealth that gathered there actually incubated the world's first international banking cartel. It's funny, banking cartels and the Illuminati are associated with this symbol because the black rock, the black stone, the black cube of Saturn is associated with a meteorite as well. Aside from Artemis in Ephesus, there was the Black Stone of Cybele /Re, the mountain mother goddess of Pisinos, Phrygia, in modern-day Turkey. This most ancient of worshipped meteorites did not fall pre-carved like others were purported, but the meteoritic stone, weathered black with age, was famously incorporated into megalithic statues of the mother goddess and highly revered in her macabre cult. Most famously, men were forbidden to look upon or partake in her mystery cult, well, intact men anyways. The Gali, male initiates of Cybele, were required to forsake their manhood and place the mark of the Divine Mother upon themselves. In other words, Osiris's missing phallus took on a more literal meaning in this ancient Isis cult. There's reports of the power and influence of Cybele's cult and her sacred stone well documented throughout history, from mentions in Homer to one of the most famous and documented events in ancient Roman history, moving Cybele from Pisinos to Rome, to Constantine's legacy in Constantinople. And since Constantinople had such ties to the growing Arab caliphates down in Mecca, which also had syncretized idols of Cybele reportedly destroyed by Mo and his followers, it's curious that upon Kaaba today rests an alleged meteoritic black stone that millions still worship to this day. Have I got your attention yet? It doesn't stop with Saturn vomiting the Omphalos of Delphi. Ray tricked him into eating instead of Zeus, nor the Ephesian Artemis, nor the Black Stone of Cybele. The Meteorite Cult crater hole only gets deeper the more you dig, and the list of meteorites worshipped in antiquity only gets longer the more you look. From the Trojan Palladium to the stone of Elagabalus, to the Ben stone of ancient Egypt and Heliopolis, to the Cyprian Aphrodite mentioned in Jason and the Argonauts. There's even a legend of the Taurian Artemis of the Ukrainian Tauric people, another Artemis statue in the aspect of a stag that was lost somewhere along the northern Black Sea, perhaps the subject of a classified archaeological find by Soviet Russia in Sevastopol, Crimea. But speaking of Crimea and Russian Orion cults, Russian news this week includes rumors of the long-awaited Ukraine-Russia ceasefire. Trump tweeted that he reportedly talked to Putin, where they discussed Ukraine and AI, among other subjects. Glad artificial intelligence is something they both get excited about. New Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said there's no chance Ukraine joins NATO or Russia gets Crimea as part of the terms. It always comes back to Crimea. And Trump named Secretary of State Marco Rubio, CIA Director John Ratcliffe, National Security Advisor Michael Waltz, and Special Envoy to the Middle East Steve Witkoff to handle the negotiations. I feel really confident there's zero conflict of interest in Ukraine and Russia with these guys, and that Trump's certainly not trying to leverage anything for himself or the Peter Thiel Mafia. Only good-hearted American interests here, folks. But as Zelensky hires Russian AI bot farms to manufacture his own support and hold off elections longer, artificial intelligence disclosure keeps ramping up speed this year, with the CEO of ServiceNow claiming we have 24 months before AI changes everything we know. As Meta started their AI layoffs last Monday, drastically setting in motion a new employment landscape for Americans, Zuck also revealed Brain2 QWERTY, an AI thought-to-text program most of us suspected they've had for a while now. They may have trained Brain2 QWERTY on the 82 trillion terabytes of bit-torrented copyright books they stole for their AI learning models. Hey Meta, can you guess what I'm thinking right now? Put it on the screen for us. In case mind-reading AI wasn't enough to keep you up at night, though, reports that DeepSeek, the Chinese competitor to OpenAI, can be hacked to create bioweapons might do better than a shot of espresso to stave off the sleep. Before we wrap up the week, NASA has decided to partner with us to help establish Druidcast's brand new puzzle section, because every newspaper needs a puzzle. We've talked about Spy Comms and NASA before, but this week NASA put out this cryptic photo, inspiring all sorts of thoughts. Shout out to Secondhand News for noticing the photo of the moon was taken the same day as this article, and to the Cosmic Space Witch, who keenly observed the photo was taken a day before a lunar eclipse. With Gaza and Israel as hot topics this weekend, as well as the full moon that was on Thursday, what could NASA be saying? Comment below with your interpretations. And be sure to tune in next week for our weekly Spy Comms Decoder puzzle. That's a wrap this time. Or at least all I could fit in this video. Maybe if I could convince everyone I can quantum teleport like Oxford, whatever the hell that means, to teleport dust, maybe I'd have more time. No matter, since Bill Gates doesn't seem to think any of us have that much time anyways, as OpenAI's aptly named Orion artificial intelligence will make most humans unnecessary, end quote. We'll all be the judge of that, Bill, not you. But if they disclose the Epstein list before next weekend and Bill's name isn't on it, then you can be sure my theory about artificial intelligence scripted top-secret file disclosure was right on the money. Until next time, keep seeking truthers. You can find the answers you're looking for if you look hard enough.